Hey, welcome to Gun Stuff. Today we get a chance to bring out Windham Weaponry's 9mm Carbine. So this is a rifle, 9mm rifle, runs off Glock mags. It's a blowback design. Comes with a really nice case. This is a really nice protective case here, one of the better ones we've seen on the market. Comes with a 17 round Glock mag, and it has your sling that comes with it. It has QD mounts, all these other good pieces on here. So a little bit about Windham Weaponry. Windham Weaponry, it was founded by engineers that were working for a more well-known, back in the day, more well-known AR producer, and they decided to strike out on their own because they thought that they could make a better package than what they were having to throttle back to offer to the company they were working for. So they've added this to their lineup, and this has a lot of really nice features on it, and we're going to get to those in just a minute. But this 9mm PCC style design can be used in a lot of sports, a lot of shooting sports, and which is is also a really good home defense type weapon or truck gun, something like that. Main thing that we always like to talk about here again is the platform compatibility. So being able to use same magazine, same ammo as your pistol. So being able to keep this thing fed and keep it running. There's a lot of great features on here, and we're going to get to those in just a minute. We're going to put a scope on here. We're going to do some long range testing. We're going to get the suppressor on here, see how it runs suppressed, and we're going to give you our thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and hit the range. All right, so here we are at the bench. We've got a target set up at 100 yards. We're going to go ahead and do a 5-shot group at 100 yards just for a little accuracy testing. We've already got it, a rough zero on there. I'm not necessarily worried about trying to get the group to the center of the target. I just want to print as tight a group as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and take my time and put 5 rounds down range at 100 yards. So here we go. 5-shot group. Let's go ahead and go down and take a look at our target. All right, so here we are at 100 yards. This turned out a really good group. I'm really happy with what we got here. This is about 1.5 inch spread at 100 yards, okay? So this 16-inch barrel on here is performing remarkably well, which is it's kind of what I expected. You know, we don't like to talk a gun up too much until we shoot it, but Windham has a fine reputation for quality, and they make really good barrels. So with this being such a tight group, I would expect that we'd be able to take this out quite a bit further. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to throw a couple of clicks on here to bring it up a little bit, but like I said in the beginning, we're not worried about. We just get onto our steel targets, print a couple groups. When we know we're getting a group, then I go ahead and I take some shots onto the cardboard just so we can show you the kind of groups that it's capable of. We're not necessarily worried again about getting this group into the dead center of the target. Does that look good? Yeah, but we waste a lot of rounds and we waste a lot of time trying to make those adjustments to get these things placed right. So we'd rather spend the time running the gun and through different platforms, red dots, scopes, around different obstacles and stuff like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back. I'm going to add a couple clicks to it, bring it up in some elevation. We'll shoot at 200. So we'll see how it performs there. You want me under the tree or outside of the tree? Doesn't matter. All right, so here we are at 200 yards. We're going to go ahead and engage still at 200. All right, so we got 2 out of 3. We haven't spent a lot of time trying to zero it in to ensure that we get good hits at 200, but it's shooting really well, and with the groups that is holding at 100, I'm sure if we spend a little bit of more time and put a little bit better optic on here, that we would be able to get consistent hits at 200 all day long. So we're going to go ahead and move on up and start shooting some drills with this. Yeah, grab a couple. Yeah, load a couple up. We'll go down and shoot a couple drills. All right, so here we are. We're going to start running some drills. One of the things we want to talk about is, like we always do with a lot of the other guns, is cross-platform compatibility. So today I've got the Faxon Hellfire that I'm shooting here runs off the same magazines, both run off Glock magazines. So anytime that you have the ability to be able to run your pistol and your rifle with the same caliber, same mags, it's going to keep your system up and running. So you run into a problem, you can engage with a different weapons platform. You run out of ammo, you can feed the other gun. And some of the competitions also allow you, if your rifle goes down, you can engage steel plates with your pistol, but it takes more hits. So some of these things, you know, come into play when you start to get into like shooting sports. But with this rifle here, being a full carbine, being a full rifle, 16-inch barrel, it brings it into play for a lot of other shooting sports as well. You got your IDPA, your IPSC, and different shooting sports that allow you to run these. Some of them don't allow you to run the ones with the pistol braces and the shorter barrels, and some of those are for safety reasons, and just not exactly sure why some of them are sanctioned and some of them are not. But this platform right here has become widely acceptable by a lot of shooting sports. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do drill like IDPA and some of the others. When you're shooting these rifles in these competitions, a lot of times they make everyone start from a barrel or something like this, and you'll start from the barrel. At the sound of the buzzer, you come up and you engage your threats. So we're going to run a couple of those drills just to show you how this gun handles during those situations. So Jim's going to step in, and Jim's going to give me the start times.
All right. Yep. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. You're going to do one shot on each plate.
All right. One shot on each plate.
Yep. Shooter ready?
Ready.
Stand by. Your view button wasn't working. All right. Shooter ready? Stand by. One more?
Yep.
Shooter ready? Stand by.
So you can see when you're running these, of course, PCC class almost always runs faster than the people shooting a handgun, because you've got the sight radius on here, and being able to have the longer barrel, of course, more accuracy. But having these things also for home defense weapons are a great choice as well, because they have really manageable recoil. And like I said, it runs off your pistol mag, so whichever one you can get to in a defensive situation is going to work really well. So we're going to have Jim step up and run it a couple times too. All right. Sound of the buzzer, go one round on each target. Be alert. All right, 516. .441. 422. All right, we still got one more mag. Let's go ahead and run. Let's run rams or something up there, some sheep. Yeah. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're just running the hanging steel across there, just to get a feel for how quickly we can transition just left to right on this. All right.
All right, shooter, you're going to go right to left. Once you finish those 5 targets, you're going to hit the 2 white steels behind it.
Right to left. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Oh, there we go. I thought it was going to be stuck up there. I missed the white though. All right, ready?
Yep. Ready? We're going to go left to right this time.
All right, left to right.
Left to right, and then shoot the 2 white targets behind.
All right.
You understand it?
Yeah, I'm fixing my stock here. All right. Good.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
All right, so you can see on here, Each time you run these, you get a little bit faster, and just like when Jim ran it just a minute ago, first time running this gun with this scope on this, and each time you're just dropping, you know, quarter second to a half second off each one. So I can only imagine that after a full day of running this, or even a full week of training with this, the times would just get remarkably fast. So we're gonna go ahead and step back, load some more mags, and we're gonna keep on shooting. All right, one of the other things we like to add on here as well, you got the, this thing is about 34 inches in length, collapsed. It comes in at about 6 3/4 pounds. So this is gonna be, with it being collapsed on here, it's still gonna be a little bit longer than your normal PCCs and some of your pistol variants, but this is meant to be a rifle. So it's a full-on carbine, 16-inch barrel. It's meant to be legal in pretty much all states, except for, you know, if they have the magazine removal restriction or something like that, like in California. But this is meant to be able to be used just about everywhere. Also, one of the things I like about it is they didn't, you got the A2 grip and the regular standard retractable stock on here. These are usually some of the first things to go on for some people. They'll pick the stock that you like, or the grip, or anything like that. So you're not investing a lot of extra money in putting something else on here, because a lot of times these are the first things that we want to replace to make it fit and feel for us. So we're gonna get out here, we're gonna get this thing running, we'll get some rounds down range. All right, so here we are, we're up on top of the hill, we got all the targets out ahead of us. One of the things we like to talk about is just being able to, when you get out and you shoot your different courses and everything, and when we're shooting by ourselves, we always have a tendency to get into the same drills. We like to shoot what we're good at, and we like to shoot all these different these different things, and we get into a rhythm. So one of the things that you really should get into is get in the habit of letting someone else call a course of fire out to you that you're not familiar with. So even if it's just getting up and calling just some random targets, just to get you thinking, having to process which targets to engage, things like that, while you're shooting your targets. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do right now. Jim's just going to call out some random targets at different ranges and things like that, and I'm going to have to try and follow these instructions as best I can.
All right, so 1, 2, 3 lollipops. So that'll be first, second, or third lollipop. 50-yard target, 100-yard, and so on, okay? So what you're going to do this time is you're going to go second lollipop, you're going to go 100-yard silhouette, and then you're going to go red sheep.
All right, second lollipop, 100-yard silhouette, red sheep.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Understand course fire?
Yep.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. All right.
All right. A little more difficult than you think when you just get the random course of fire right up there.
I'm adjusting your distances too, so you're always having to try and refocus.
Okay.
Right. All right. First lollipop, 50-yard, 100-yard.
All right.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. All right, this time it's going to be 1, 2, 3 lollipops, and then the yellow sheep.
All right.
Stand by.
So one of the things that we're talking on this is that it makes this so much easier for you to be able to engage these things. You can see the speed. I'm not familiar with this gun, and you can see how easy it is for me to engage these things at different yardages and moving and all this stuff. Which is part of the reason I think that these make such great home defense guns. So on the Windham, you know, as we're talking about all the parts that are on here, you get this comes with the A2 collapsible stock, standard buffer tube, steel castle nut, and end plate. These are a billet upper and lower on here, and they have a really nice design on these. I really like the fact that these are really beefed up on here, and they have these lightning cuts in here, so they're adding rigidity to this gun and still going through and putting the lightning cuts in there. So they're adding the rigidity but still keeping the weight down. They don't necessarily have the the dust cover on here, but that's not a deal breaker for me at all. That, you know, being able to have this thing is one less moving part to have to worry about. But one of the things I really like about this is the ergonomics on the piece itself. One, I think it's a great design. I think it looks really good with the lines and everything that they have in here. But the ergonomics on here, being able to take your hand and sweep it back into here and get up into this little hook right here. And then one of my other favorite pieces on here is this little notch. There's a little notch right here that allows you to rest your finger in here, so you get your consistent trigger finger placement. When you're not on the trigger, you have a consistent placement, so that when you are ready to shoot, you just slide your finger back into position. And they have it on both sides, so it's ambidextrous for left and right. It does not have the ambidextrous safety, but it has the indicators on here with the lines to tell you whether you're on safe or not from each side. It comes with the A2 grip. And another thing that I like about on this, that the strengthening and reinforcement they have on here, is that this is the trigger guard is an integrated piece. So with this being an integrated piece here, once you hollow all this out, and they hollow all this out to fit the trigger groups and everything and all the pieces and parts in there, weakens the structural integrity of it, and so this adds reinforcement in there. The ones that just have the drop down trigger guards on there, or just the the plastic ones that go in between, they don't really offer much in the way of actually adding structural rigidity to the piece. So with this being in there, just like a building or bridge or anything like that, the more structural rigidity you have in here, the stronger this gun's going to be, and the more abuse it's going to be able to take on a drop, or coming off an obstacle, or dropping it out of the back of your truck or something like that. It's going to be able to take more abuse. But so far, this thing's handling great. We haven't really done anything but just throw a low power variable optic on it, and we're just it's shooting great at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and run a couple more drills.
Yep. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, second lollipop.
All right.
50-yard silhouette, 100-yard silhouette, white sheet.
Okay.
Understand the course fire?
Yep.
Shooter ready? Stand by.
Man, this thing's shooting really good. Yeah. just rolling right through
it out.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to go third lollipop, first lollipop, 50-yard.
All right.
Stand by.
That felt really smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked good.
Yeah. So some of the other things we want to talk about on here also as well. This has the full length Picatinny rail across the top, has the M-LOK slots all the way around. It comes with sling and your QD mount. But one of the cool things about it is just about everybody else, you get your rifle, you want to get your sling set up and everything. It puts the QD mounts right into the end for you. So you don't have to go and take up another M-LOK slot in a place that you don't necessarily want it, or have to add weight to the handguard itself by adding a QD receptacle on here. It's already built into the handguard itself. Of course, this has these big lightning holes in here, so this thing doesn't weigh much at all. But one of the things I'm really impressed about this is the barrel. It's got the 16-inch barrel here. It's threaded 1/2 by 28. So we're going to throw a suppressor on here in a minute, run a couple drills with it, just to see how it runs with the suppressor. My suppressor that I'll be using today is a little bit longer and a little bit heavier, but it won't be really practical for running suppressor on this gun. But we just want to see how it runs with it, and the blowback operation of the gun itself. But the barrel on this is probably one of is a really nice key feature on here as far as the accuracy of this gun.
You're gonna go 3, 2, 1 on the lollipops, then 50.
All right.
Shooter ready?
All right.
Stand by.
What was that?
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, double beep. I just ran it anyways.
Yep, there you go.
I just want to sling rounds. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and step off. We're gonna put the suppressor on here. We're gonna run it with suppressor a little bit just to see how it handles.
Yep.
All right.
I think what they're saying is that if you want to own this gun, you can't be a bitch, and you got to learn how to freaking get a grip on it and turn it off. I really like that. That feels good.
I know, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that until Craig said that.
I know. Well, I knew it was there. I just Butterfly. Squirrel. So we're back. We've got the suppressor on. One of the things we wanted to mention on here also is when you go to take this off, the thread protector on here, I believe there is a drop of Loctite in there. So you may want to heat this up, put a little heat on it, lighter or something like that. Get that Loctite back to its liquid, you know, easy to take off form. We're out here on the range. We didn't know it was on there. We went to take it off and we had a little bit of trouble getting this off. This is not knurled also, so you'll have to be careful when you go to get it off, because you don't want to put a wrench flat directly straight on it. It doesn't have wrench flats, but you don't want to put a pair of pliers or anything like that right on here and just mar this up. So what we did is we wrapped some leather around there and then got some pliers on it, just put our man hands on it and took it off. So we've got our suppressor on here. We're going to run a couple drills with it, but one of the other things we wanted to mention also on here is that the trigger's running really well. It has a mil-spec trigger in it. So if you want to be able to change that out or tune that trigger, you're going to be able to find any of the parts you need that you want to put in it. Of course, you can always do lightning springs and things like that, but we're going to go ahead and run this out there. You ready?
Yep.
Jim's going to go ahead and run a couple more drills with it, and we're going to see how it runs with the suppressor on. We're not shooting subsonic ammunition, we're shooting hypersonic, 115 grain cellar and bellet. All right, so what I want you to do is you're going to engage 1, 2, 3, 100. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Be alert. Hit. Nice. All right, we're gonna go 50, 1, 100. Be alert. Hit. All right, 584. All right, you're gonna go 50, 2, 100, blue ram. 52, 100 blue ram. All right?
Yep.
Be alert. Nice. All right, so as you can see, the benefits of being able to contemplate, you know, we're throwing 4-step target acquisition in there, so he's having to acquire 4 different targets at different ranges and things like that, and that's part of the fun that you get out of when you go shoot competition. But being out here and having someone else call it on the fly, so that you have to think about it right then and there. I know we shoot competition, we get a lot of times the added benefit of being able to see someone shoot the course first, and or you get to go back and think about it. When someone's calling it out right there on the spot, you know, it's something you have to keep track of it in your head and run through it. So it's running great on the suppressor. We're gonna go and we're just gonna move up a little bit closer, and we're just gonna run a little bit of speed on here just to see how it cycles and how we can dump a mag with the suppressor on it and see if there's any slowdown or any feedback issues. All right, let's go ahead and move up here. All right, so we're here. We're about 10-15 yards away from our steel target here. We're just going to do a mag dump, and and check the last round bolt hold open and see how it handles with the suppressor on just running a full mag through it. All right, so you see here it's got the last round bolt hold open, and this is of course a blowback design here. So when on your blowback guns, you get a little bit more fouling, but then when you throw a suppressor on top of it, it compounds it a little bit. So one of the things you're going to want to pay attention to on this is being able to drop a couple. Put a couple drops of oil down in there occasionally to keep this thing lubed and running. So let's go ahead and go back and load some more. All right, so we shot this thing today. We run a lot of rounds through it. This thing has performed great. We threw a low power variable optic on it. We shot at 100 yards. We shot at 200 yards. Really good precision out of this gun, and that's exactly what I expected out of a Windham Weaponry gun, and with a 16-inch barrel. Ran great with the suppressor on it. We did have a little bit of issue getting the suppressor off, but one of the things without getting the thread protector off of it, but one of the things I want to show you guys here is a different thing that's a little bit unique to Windham as well. So we're going to show you the bolt here. Go ahead and pull this out. Okay. So we have our bolt, standard charging handle. This is what your bolt looks like. Of course, it's chopped down on the front, blowback style. cut down key with a weight on here to mitigate the blowback of the round itself to slow it down. All right, it's running a 9mm. As you can see here, it says 9mm on the buffer. But one of the things I want to show you on here is the last round bolt hold open here. So this is a little bit different than normal. As if you can see down in here, there's a little post here. Right, I'm going to move this back and forth. There's a little post here that moves right there. That comes up and it catches on the last round. Okay, most 9mm with the last round bolt hold open usually have a little trap door that goes right here. When it comes up, it hits this part of the magazine right here. Hits this part of the magazine and actuates it and locks this to the rear. What they've done is they simplified this just a little bit. And they've put a rod in here, and what this little rod, and you got this piece right here, what this little rod does is it pushes out when that last round comes up and hits on this little metal rod here. It pushes out on this and it basically actuates the bolt hole open. So this thing pushes out at this point here, right there, and it locks this out. So it's a different approach to the same problem. So it's a different option. You know, I'm sure there's pros and cons to having this method versus a different type of last round bolt hold open. I'm not exactly sure why they picked this method, but it looks fairly simple and it's fairly easy to make. It looks like it'd be something that'd be fairly easy to maintain and repair if there were ever something to go down with it. So we just want to give you guys a good look at the inside of the gun and how it all stacks up compared to some of the other 9mm PCCs that we've had on here before. But this has turned out to be a great piece and a very accurate 9mm carbine. So this is going to serve you well in your shooting sports and your home defense. We like it here, and we know you do too. So we hope you get to see more of these out on the range when we get to shoot. Totally fucked that up. Yeah.